Hey, it's Jeremy from LATT SEO. In this video, I'm walking through 5 common questions regarding e-commerce SEO and specific answers for each of these questions as well. So the first one is, how can I scale my organic traffic beyond what we've already achieved? And this would be a question from a brand or a website that we've either been working together or they've worked with different SEO company or they've done internal SEO and looking to drive additional traffic and likely revenue, of course. My recommendations would typically be to expand into related keywords using content clusters and to build topical authority and to refresh and optimize existing content to match evolving search intent. And what I mean by that is if we go to Ahrefs here, I have deathwishcoffee.com pulled up here and I'll use them as an example here. I've looked at their site quite a bit and done some auditing and some other videos about their content as well. One of the first processes I would work through is looking for keywords with quick win potential. And what I mean by that is if we look here at keywords ranking between position 11 and 20, this first of all gives us a huge list still of keyword opportunities, 4,430 different keywords we can focus on. But if we also filter this to include URL contains collections, this also then lets us filter this down even further to 136 different keywords that we could target that are specifically related to a collections page. And the value here is this lets us know what keywords or phrases or products or product categories are already close to ranking at the top, have some value, likely have some traffic, and may just need to be optimized a little bit better to get to page one and potentially top of page one without doing any additional link building or long-term SEO strategies. A lot of times I've seen results where we optimize a collection or a product page correctly, and without building any links, we start driving a new significant traffic to this page based on optimizing the collection or the product page correctly. Question number 2, what SEO strategies can help us improve conversions, not just traffic? From this perspective, then, I would drill down a little bit further to focus on transactional keywords to attract ready-to-buy customers, of course, and improving product page design and optimizing content based on the primary goal here. Now, an example here would be something like large coffee mugs. And if we look here, large coffee mugs, the broad phrase here gets 4,400 searches per month. And if I look here at the actual keyword data for all keywords related to large coffee mugs, we now have an opportunity for 242 different keywords that contain large coffee mugs. Monthly search volume, 4,500. Global search volume, 8,800 searches per month. And this then lets us target large coffee mugs, extra large coffee mugs, large ceramic, extra large ceramic, large mugs for coffee, large handle, etc. I think you get the point here. There are lots of different opportunities and related keywords and phrases that we could target on this page. Now, the other opportunity here would be looking at what competitors are doing. So this page here for Death Wish Coffee is currently ranking at number 13. And it's estimated they're getting 4 visitors per month of the 4,400 searching for this key phrase. So what specifically could be done for a potentially high converting page like this? First thing, if we just do a quick look at the page itself. So there's no content, again, on this page about large coffee mugs or extra large coffee mugs. They just have the products here. And that's almost always one of the first recommendations I have is making sure the content on the page itself is optimized specifically for the keyword you want to rank for. And one opportunity here that I'm seeing again would be to potentially build another collection to just focus on large coffee mugs or extra large coffee mugs instead of having coffee on this page and merch and mug warmers, because you can have the same product in multiple collections, which makes it easier for search engines to understand where that product should be categorized and how it should be categorized, which then makes it easier for you to get more traffic for those keywords then as well. Now, if we go back to extra large or large coffee mugs here, I want to also look at and explain the benefit and the value of building a specific collection for high traffic targeted transactional keywords. And again, the key phrase here is large coffee mugs. And if you look at the title for every single one of these pages here, oversized coffee mugs, oversized mugs, large and extra large coffee cups, extra large coffee mug, oversized coffee mug, extra large coffee and tea mugs, coffee mugs, and then mugs for Death Wish Coffee. Their title is not optimized at all for large or extra large coffee mugs. And there is massive opportunity here from that perspective. And that would be something I would absolutely recommend to make sure this is optimized correctly for the best user intent and for these additional searches. And like I said, you can create a new collection to target this and not even mess with your mugs collection here. Keep this as mugs, or I would actually recommend optimizing this as coffee mugs and or coffee cups based on some additional data here. Like if you look here, coffee cup, 44,000 searches, coffee mug, 43,000. And again, their title of this page is optimized for mugs. Now they do have coffee in their brand and their domain name, but I would still recommend optimizing this better just in general for coffee cup, coffee mug. And those are just some side suggestions as well. Question 3, how do we compete with larger competitors dominating our niche in search results? And my recommendation would be target underserved or related long tail keywords and niche specific topics. A couple examples I have here are mosquito and content pruning versus terms. And mosquito, I did a video on how to capture featured snippets specifically for Death Wish coffee related to mosquito terms. So if we remove these filters here and add a filter for keyword containing mosquito, apply, show results. Now we have 41 keywords that contain mosquito here. And the video I did before was essentially, does burning coffee or coffee grounds keep mosquitoes away? And you can see here, the potential here is probably 1,500, 2,000 searches per month for something like this. Search intent here is largely informational, but the key is working to rank for keywords and phrases that are related to your brand and can potentially build topical authority for your site. Now, on the other hand, the verses here that I recommend, content pruning versus terms, the other strategy would be to prune or remove content that is unrelated. And if I do another filter here that contains verse or VS, so we do have a lot of content here: espresso versus coffee, cold brew versus iced, coffee versus espresso, light versus dark roast, Arabica versus Robusta, etc. Those are all great. These are great pieces of content to have and would also work to build relevance for the domain name based on all of these are products that you serve or have. Now, where we get into potential content pruning needs would be brandy versus bourbon, rum versus whiskey, and there were a couple others, but anything whiskey versus rum, any of these, you don't have whiskey, you don't sell whiskey on your site. I realize there may be some relation to bourbon and dark coffee or things like that, but my recommendation would be to remove any content that is not related to your brand, because it makes it more difficult for Google to associate topical authority for your brand when you're talking about a bunch of different topics on your site. And if you do have bourbon barrel aged coffee or something like that, then it may make a little bit more sense to have something like that. But to have these alcohol type terms on a coffee site is not relevant. And I would recommend testing out, pruning this content and seeing how that impacts things. I've seen cases where actually reducing the amount of content on your site, if it is unrelated or not relevant, can actually improve traffic and improve rankings over time. Question 4, which technical SEO optimizations will give us the biggest gains at this stage? And this stage would be dependent upon where that site or where that project is at. But in general, the first recommendation I would look at would be implementing advanced schema markup to improve click-through rates. And this would be things like product review data if you don't have that, and also content schema as well. And then audit and fix crawl depth issues, duplicate content, and orphan pages. Crawl depth issues, this is extremely important, and same with orphan pages. This screenshot down here, I've done a video on one of the projects I worked on where I did a lot of technical SEO improvements for a client on Shopify. And this is one of their collections here that traffic increased nearly 4x for them on this collection. And this was with doing 0 external link building. The process here was to audit and fix crawl depth. Basically, crawl depth for this collection here was set to 5 initially. And what crawl depth is, if you're unfamiliar, is basically how many clicks it takes a visitor or a user to get to that content if they were to land on your homepage. So this was a collection that is actually relatively important for them. And it was crawled up 5. So it would take somebody 5 clicks to get to this page from the homepage. So what I did was add a link to the collection on the homepage, and then also looked at adding additional content to this page that was optimized for keywords and phrases they want to rank for. And the results here are significant for them. Traffic, like I said, up significantly, way more impressions, higher click-through rate, and lower average position. So this would be one of the processes I would look at. And this is something that I would look at in a relatively ongoing fashion, twice a year, maybe, depending on how much content you have, because you can very quickly, if you're building a lot of content, increase the number of orphan pages that don't have internal links from other pages on your site. or run into duplicate content issues, depending on how many people you have creating content or what that content process looks like. So I would absolutely recommend looking at this in a somewhat regular time frame. Question 5, how do we make better use of our existing high traffic pages to drive more sales? And my recommendations here would be to add strategic internal links to drive traffic to those high converting pages, and then revamp page content with compelling call to actions and conversion focused headlines. And like I just mentioned with number 4, internal linking is hugely beneficial. And you can use this if you do have a lot of traffic on a content page. So if we look here and we look at traffic, of course, they have a lot of brand search. How long does 200 milligrams of caffeine last? Caffeine content. So actually, let's just look at this page here. So if we look at this page here, the first thing I would do is just to see, do they have any links to other pages on their site? So they do have some external links here to Medical News Today, WebMD, and then in some of these here, this looks like a link to a blog post about espresso. This is a link to a product. So they are making usage of this, which is good. But I would look at this as one of the first things to do is add internal links to your products and collections or other content on your pages that are getting traffic, because this drives traffic to these pages and drives link equity or provides link equity for these pages based on what Google is looking at and crawling on your site. And that would be the recommendation I would look at from a content perspective on some of these pages here. And then lastly, one of the recommendations that I make in a lot of different videos and to almost every client I work with, if this is not done correctly, would be to optimize content or add optimized content onto specifically on collection pages. And like I said, doing this with the other technical cleanup was able to get these results for this collection page here. And again, this was with 0 external backlinking. So we didn't redo any guest posting or any external linking. This was just internal content optimization and technical cleanup as well. So again, adding optimized content to a page here, my recommendation would always be to potentially have a short overview at the top here, and then at the bottom, add in content to target some of these key phrases here. Because as one last quick data point here is looking at key phrases for coffee mug, for example. And for coffee mug, the searches per month for coffee mug, around 20,000, it looks like right here. But there are 28,264 different keywords that contain coffee mug, 366,000 searches per month, 672,000 global searches. And it's going to be difficult to rank for some of these specific keywords and phrases here, like best coffee mug, best travel. A lot of these are competitor brands, so they wouldn't make any sense here. But if you do have a stainless steel or a set or a copper one or with a lid, again, there are so many variations here that it would take a long time to go through all of these. But it's going to be very difficult to rank on your collections page or even your product pages if you're not optimized correctly for that. And I would recommend adding content at the bottom here about these coffee mugs. And I would always recommend optimizing the content for the products and offerings you have. I wouldn't recommend including information in your collection page or on a product page about an electric coffee mug if you don't have that, unless you're talking about the dangers of them or why you don't want one or something like that. But in general, if somebody's looking for electric coffee mug specifically, they probably are wanting to buy that type of product. So again, something to think about from a content perspective there as well. And that's it. Those are 5 common e-commerce SEO questions and my answers to them. If you got some value from this video, subscribe to my channel. Helps me out. I'd appreciate it. And if you're looking for help with your SEO, click on the contact form link in the description or in the comment section, and I'll take a look at your SEO. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.